Hey, so I wanted to do a video on my lunch break because I have no one else to talk to, so you have to suffer through that. I was thinking about how I could physically possibly improve my computer without building a whole new computer, if it's even possible. I don't think going to a 4090 is going to really improve my situation. In a way that I'm interested in. In other words, you can drop in a bigger engine, but that doesn't make you a better mechanic. You know what I mean? So I'm really interested in fine tuning what I have. And I was thinking about it. So I don't currently use Wi-Fi because I'm a crazy person and I think Wi-Fi affects human biology, all biology, on some level with some frequencies. And there's not necessarily a direct impact, but it can certainly impact microorganisms that have secondary impacts on your biology. Neither here nor there, it's a bit of a tangent. But I don't use Wi-Fi, so I have an extra slot if I were to capitalize on it. So I just ordered a new dual TPU with, I think it's the E key or the M key. I always get it mixed up. Or the B key, whatever. But it's the one that fits in the Wi-Fi slot. It's the dual TPU. So I'm going to pull my Wi-Fi chip and I'm going to install another TPU in place of that. Now what that will enable me to do is to have 3 TPU cores operating without taking up any of my PCIe lanes. And that's pretty cool. Now, what that would mean for me is I could reutilize my 4-slot Gen 5 M.2 expansion card for actual storage. And just listening to one of these tech tubers, basically more storage better. Even if you're not using it, having that extra storage capacity, especially in Windows, is going to speed up your system. Especially with mixed workloads. So I think my computer would benefit from using that as storage instead of another TPU. Because of the distance it has to travel, I don't think those TPUs are doing much as far as offloading GPU tasks. But that bottom slot on my motherboard is only a Gen 4 by 8, I believe. It's not Gen 5 by 16. In order for me to get to my Gen 5 by 16 slot, I have to be in my second PCIe lane. Problem is, that second PCIe slot is covered up by the 4080 heatsink. So, if I want to take it to the next level and actually have full PCIe storage capacity, meaning I can download the full bandwidth of my PCIe bus onto either an SSD or multiple SSDs, I need to tear off my air cooler and start water cooling my 4080 GPU. Now, if I water cool my 4080 GPU, I can put that in my second slot, and then I can have Gen 5 storage on up to 5 M.2 SSDs. So 5 Gen 5 storage SSDs and 3 Coral TPUs and an FPGA running in CUDA. And I think I might be able to get to 300 frames per second in 4K. I think I could do it. And here's why I think I can get to 300 frames per second in 4K. Because I currently can get there. I just can't get there in like a lot of activity going on. When there's just a still picture, it's easy. But when a lot of stuff starts happening, when the game starts, it drops to 225. So I think if I optimize it, I can actually game at 300 frames per second in 4K with a 4080. And I want to try to do that just because I think I can. But just what I'm talking now, above and beyond what I've already spent on this PC, we're probably talking like another $700 to reconfigure my cooler, to add another dual TPU, and even more on top of that for more Gen 5 SSDs. So we could easily be like another $1,500 just to try to go from 225 FPS in 4K to 300 FPS in 4K. And keep in mind, my monitor, even overclocked, only goes to 165. So it's purely for experimental purposes. But I want to know if I can do it. I don't know. Let me know what you think if you have an opinion. If I'm just a crazy person wasting my money, or if this is actually somewhat worthy of investment as far as development goes.